My name is Eric Walker, and my speech is going to be on esports. Esports isn't thought of as a career choice. When I grew up, I wanted to be a gamer. Of course, a lot of kids think that. Some may say that, but realize there's little potential for that dream to root and grow. Now the world is changing, and what years ago used to be a dream is becoming more and more of a reality. Video games are an escape some people use, while with others, merely a hobby to eat up spare time. Yet as the years go by, the events get larger and larger for esports. Esports is a form of sports that is thought of with electronic systems, computers. Most people associate sports with high-energy physical exertion activities. Esports is more mental than physical on the players, and most don't see that to be deserving of even associated with sports. The rise of funding for esports is outrageous, and seems to be a train moving at max velocity with no slowing down in sight. Esports may just now be taking root in the world, but the likelihood that it will burn out is non-existent. My thesis is on whether or not esports is growing and whether it has the potential to become as large as sports in other countries, soccer, basketball, football, in terms of funding, popularity, entertainment. 30 years ago, esports is barely even a blimp on anyone's radar. And yet now the esport events are large enough to attract the attention of even ESPN to film them. Esports has grown into the giant it is today with no chance of slowing down. The market is expected to grow 43% in 2016 and even reach $1.1 billion by 2019. More and more people are getting into watching professional video game players battle among each other for coveted titles and prize pools. With more viewers, the demand to keep hype up and the game entertaining rises as well. Enthusiasts started as the only audience for the events taking place years ago, but now enthusiasts make up barely half of the total audience for some events. Casual viewers can watch a game or two, while enthusiasts may watch the entire series from start to finish with each bracket of gameplay. As the total amount of viewers rises, so does the different types of games being watched, from fighting to MOBA, which is a multiplayer online battle arena, to even first-person shooters. The more genres, the greater the chance some people will be interested over one generic type of esports. The events 10 to 20 years ago were mostly between amateurs playing amongst each other, but with today's events, many professional players gather, so much so that the amateurs just spectate the events happening if they weren't able to attain skill levels equivalent of the others. The best players found all over the world come to battle, and teams swap players around their teams just like football and soccer. The urge to surpass others drives the players to stay at the top of their game. The most recent international Dota tournament, 2015, brought in $18,429,613 for the participants. Yep, you heard that correctly. The explosive growth of esports has already made such an incredible impact that the prize pool has exceeded many other sports' grand prize pools by a long shot. The Super Bowl for American football generated less than half as much money for their prize pool for their participants. Yes, it is true that football players earn salaries versus only prize pools, but esports players earn sponsorships as well to have a steady income on top of their winnings from tournaments. The sponsors range from the equipment they use, like the mouse and keyboard, Razer, Logitech, and headphones, to generic advertising on their jackets to expose companies when the players win highly viewed tournaments. The Masters tournament for professional golfers generated about half the prize pool that the biggest esports prize pool has made at this point. With each Dota tournament, the prize pool has only increased tremendously, so the next tournament coming up in August might exceed 20 million. The big factor to contribute to their prize pool is how the company IceFrog, the ones who created Dota 2, went about a creative twist for their total value. Everyday Joes bought virtual passes through the game that added money towards the prize pool of the international event. The consumers were able to gain in-game items for the pass and also supported the esports by increasing the prize pool each and every day. I don't know how to even compare that idea to, say, football and having a percent of a football purchase go towards Super Bowl prize pool to increase it. Most MOBA games consist of 5-man teams, so the prize money is split, of course, but their incomes that some players received have already been in the millions. Sumai is the gamer tag of a Dota 2 player who is a 16-year-old boy who earned over $1 million winning on the team that won one of the Dota international tournaments recently. Each year the prize pool is expected to rise for all esports divisions, which shoots the funding for the events through the roof because each event gets more and more massive. Some of these tournaments are held with teams made up to represent an entire country battling for the title best in the world, from North America to Europe to Asia. These tournaments happen all over the world: Germany, Asia, North America. Esports has risen in popularity from local LAN tournaments and hotel ballrooms to stadiums packed with fans. Esports has grown enough in popularity for companies like Coke, Nissan, and Red Bull to even step in as tournament sponsors for these events. People really seem to enjoy watching esports, and even in 2014, the number of people watching or playing esports was enough to be put into a category to be considered the 5th largest nation in the world, if such an idea could exist. This phenomenon is not restricted to just one continent either. Asia is, of course, the largest for spectators at the moment, but North America and Europe are closing the gap fast. While the gaming stereotype is what most think of as an average viewer of esports, that doesn't actually ring true. A majority are parents, and about a third are women. Most sports can be viewed as a male-driven sport like football in North America. The diversity of viewers for esports is one of the reasons the numbers are climbing so drastically in popularity. They have a larger audience towards. The total viewers for esports may not surpass the huge events like Super Bowl in means of views. They have already surpassed the Masters and the World Series for views and are now hot on the heels to beat even the Super Bowl, which is one of the biggest viewing events, period, for North America and the world. Watching the Masters golf on TV and nothing is given as a reward for merely watching. But wait, there are two internationals on, and witnessing a triple kill in the game grants hundreds of viewers to thousands rewards that can be sold on the Steam market to buy video games. Entertainment for esports has risen to levels that wouldn't have even been imagined before. What may be alright to watch at home all of a sudden gets crazy with broadcasters that can get as excited as they want during the more heart-pounding events of MOBAs as they can scream and shout. Even without really knowing what's going on, one can't help but feel as though something incredible has happened. Events can now be projected overhead to give a real view of the game in real time, with added effects for viewers sitting at the stadium to make it more enjoyable. Similar to how new basketball courts have 3D projectors to give feeds directly onto the court at halftime and so forth. Enough incentive is already given to not only watch from the comfort of one's home, but even flying out to the events all over the world, they have more than enough benefits to want to do. As the rise in entertainment continues, the sharpening and the smoothness of performances and overall feedback gives better and better events as the time progresses. Some events don't go so well, but on the plus side, most esports tournaments are not rained out or have to be canceled due to weather, since the majority of the events are held inside, if not all of them. While a football or soccer game may last hours on end, an esports game will last usually under an hour to even under 20 minutes at a time if you want to watch just single games. If you want to watch a few games, then you can do something more productive with your time with what you wouldn't have if you were watching a 9-inning baseball game. They're more or less like TV show episodes versus a baseball game. Today we explain the rise of popularity, the reality of the sport, surpassing today's sports on coverage and prize pools, and whether the activity deserves the title of esports. What at one point was a bunch of young kids getting together with computers to hang out and battle and play has now become an almost billion-dollar industry with exposure all over the world. While it may be difficult for some to play football or golf or tennis or get to these high levels of plays, playing a video game on a computer is possible for such a large chunk of the population that it's more enticing. With that, people can connect to the idea of esports just in the fact that they themselves can join in on the activities. The future of esports is looking good. I could end it. How long was it?
7 minutes. Just turned 8, but I thought I paused it. But I